to This Is Nashville.
Yo, appreciate you, brother Khalil. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate all the shouts.
All right, so what were y'all hip hop moments? Daru, what was that moment where you knew that hip hop was your music?
Oh man, the Run DMC.
Okay.
Yeah. Run DMC. Just the whole swag, the Adidas. Well, let me be transparent. I grew up Pentecostal, super religious, Church of God in Christ, no secular music.
Okay.
But when I went to school, I'm just fast forward. My friends, they were talking about this hip hop. I'm like, what's a hip hop? So I want to be down. So that was my introduction, and then I got introduced to LL Cool J and Run DMC, and the list goes on.
Were you like sneaking cassette tapes into the house?
I was definitely doing that. Actually, I had a boombox, and I would put my boombox to the television and wait for the videos to come on. I would record from the from the tube. cheat code.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Yes, sir.
C-Wiz, what was your moment?
My moment was pretty much the same. I grew up in a Baptist house, and my father was a pastor, and I did listen to music all the time, but I did have to sneak and listen to NWA and Eazy-E, and like their aggression, like it just kind of drew me in. So that's pretty much where it started.
Yeah, I had to sneak listening to NWA, the first album, Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I was playing it one day, and I had my boombox in the window, and my mother comes home from work, and she was like, "Who is that playing that music? It's you, boy!" And I got grounded, but from then on, I had to listen to NWA with my headphones.
You know what else a struggle was? Two Live Crew, the first album.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
I mean, for me, I just gravitated towards the music because I was a musician. I started playing drums at 4, so I was trying to figure out like how can I appreciate this genre because it was a lot of profanity, speaking NWA and the list goes on, but just trying to keep it Christian mingles. I was like, how can I appreciate this genre? So I just gravitated towards the music, and I was a drummer. And I remember when I got introduced to the beatboxing era, like Fat Boys and Dougie Fresh, I was like, man, that's word. They playing the snare drum with their mouth. So I eventually learned how to beatbox, and people considered me, they said I was one of the best, I guess, at that time. Okay. But they didn't know the cheat code. They didn't know I was a drummer. That's why I was able to do so good, because I was a drummer.
So you were breaking out techniques that they never thought of.
I was beatboxing fills. I was like, yo.
Can you show us a little something?
Chill.
Okay.
Really? Come on, man. Let's rock it to the break of dawn, man.
Beat, y'all.
I think I can still do, let me see.
Yo.
Yeah.
you was 4 bars away from me trying to figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
Dang, I did that in the grip. I still got it.
You got it. You always better like riding a bike, right?
Yes.
Dang. You with people you fly across the world to play with folks, and you definitely hold it down here in town.
Appreciate it.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm still new to the community. I mean, I've been here for about 7 years, but coming here from New York City. But I'm definitely finding out, what the vibe is, and I definitely agree with C as far as like, the gumbo, and it's a mix. And I'm glad. I mean, now I definitely see, because there's a lot of people moving in town like myself from other cities. So now you're getting a chance to get some of that East Coast and some of that the West Coast, and it's all coming together. So I think it's a good time.
You do a lot of work with Jack White, and it's interesting, like, to see the folks who don't make hip hop, who are absolutely in love with hip hop. I know Jack White's a hip hop fan. What are some of the discussions y'all have?
That's a good question. So I was telling C and another gentleman, it's crazy because before we would go out on stage, we listened to a playlist of hip hop records, hip hop and rock and roll, obviously, but like we're playing like Wu-Tang, Triumph. You know what I'm saying? Before we go on stage, we listened to a Tribe Called Quest and all of the things. So I think we all grew up, with the same taste. That 90s hip hop, and it's very cool. Like, for him, being a rock and roll icon, and we all grew up. It's cool because we all grew up, with the same taste in music. So like Jack does, he nerds out, but he also knows some of these people like Q-Tip. So they have a friendship, and it's just cool. We can, like, I remember when we were recording. It's a track called Lazaretto. It's on the second release. That's the title track. And that track was inspired by MC Light, Cha Cha Cha.
Okay.
So I remember when we were in the
Wow.
studio, he was like, "Yo," he was like, "I want to make something like this," and we were bugging out. I was tripping that he even knew the record.
Okay.
But he was like, "Yeah, we want to, I want us to create something like this." So we went in the studio, and that's documented. So ain't no copyright and no infringements. But yeah, that record was inspired by Cha Cha Cha, by MC Light.
That's something. And like talking about Jack White and all these different people loving hip hop.